Warning, this may contain content not suitable for children. And snowflakes. You have been warned. What? No way. It has not been 2 weeks since my last video. I've done some live streams. I've been on other people's live streams, but I haven't made a video in 2 weeks. I guess we got to make a video. Come along for the journey. Let's jump back into Westeros. Let's do this. If you like talking sci-fi and fantasy, please subscribe. Don't make me beg. And welcome to Sporky News Podcast. My name is Scott. If you like what you see here, it would really help out the channel if you took the time to hit like, maybe share the video, drop a comment, subscribe. Please, I'd appreciate it. So we're going to move along with our Winds of Winter, What the Heck is Going to Happen series with a suggestion from one of my, hopefully, subscribers, but his name is Priz, P-R-I-Z. And Priz asked, why don't you do one about Aegon? fAegon, some people call him Aegon the Sixth, the true king of Westeros. Maybe not really. I think Stannis is, but whatever. And I'm going to give a little bit of a history, real quick history, why most people think he is not a true Targaryen, and the one major reason why I think maybe he is. So we meet Aegon as Young Griff in a Tyrion chapter in A Dance with Dragons. Tyrion is on a riverboat and he meets a group of people. One is Griff, one is his son, Young Griff. They're blue-haired guys. There's a, kind of like a half maester, I think they call him, and a good-looking septa, and a knight called Duck or something like that. And I'm really blanking right now because I didn't do enough research on this. That's just me. But I do know that through the course of him being on this boat, Tyrion, he figures out that none of these people are who they say, except for the boat owner and his wife. And we find out later, it is revealed that the Griff is actually John Connington, and he has a history with the Targaryens. He actually was once the hand of the king and lost a major battle to Robert when Robert was injured. It was called the Battle of the Bells, and he was too tame and didn't go just destroy the place to catch Robert. And Ned's forces from the north coming from, down were able to come and rescue Robert. And he has all this freaky deaky stuff with bells, which if you watch the show, spoiler coming up, that's where I think they got the whole Daenerys, oh, the bells, I got to burn the place now. It's really Jon Con that would do that. Daenerys, to me, would love bells because as a Dothraki, that the bells mean you won victories. So please, come on, let's think about this. And then we find out that Young Griff isn't his son. Young Griff is Aegon the Sixth. And you say, what? Because going back even more into the history, meta to meta, Rhaegar Targaryen and Elia Martell had 2 children, and both were murdered in the sacking of King's Landing when Tywin Lannister finally chose a side, tricked the king Aerys into allowing him into King's Landing, and then the Mountain killed these children, smashing the babies' heads, wrapping them up into a blanket. Well, we find out in this chapter that Varys, for some reason, switched the babies and saved little Prince Aegon, allowing his sister to get murdered, and replaced him with a gutter rat from Lice, I think he says Lice, with purple eyes too. A lot of people call BS on that. Wow, my glasses are all messed up. Why Varys would do that? It's supposed to be a scheme with Varys. How do you pronounce it? I never pronounced any of these right until the show came out, and I even still think they don't always pronounce them right. But anyways, Varys and Illyrio
Mopates.
So Illyrio and Varys had a plan, and what they did was they gave this baby to John Connington. John Connington's love for Rhaegar, we don't know what type of love, and that's okay, but his love of Rhaegar and his feelings of really being the reason why the Targaryen dynasty fell apart, because he had Robert. He could have killed Robert, but he was too timid, not bold enough, as he remembers, not bold enough. Tywin Lannister would have been bold enough. So he takes the young boy and raises him as his own, teaching him in the different arts. That's why they have a septa for religion. They have a maester that was, I guess, kicked out. They call him half maester. For his studies, they have a hedge knight to teach him, sword. And, he is a good kid. And we're going to read that part in a couple minutes where Varys is explaining that, because I think that's a big, big clue. But most people think he's not really Aegon. And I could see why Varys did this. He was already the master of whispers for the king. He had the Targaryens. He was helping the Targaryens, but it seemed he was one of the reasons why, they allowed Tywin into the castle. And that is why King's Landing was sacked. So when he says it's for the realm and for because no one's looking out for the people, I think it's all BS. A lot of people think this child is of a Targaryen bloodline, but it's a Blackfyre bloodline. We find out in the history of the Blackfyres, going meta again, but the Blackfyres are an offshoot of Aegon III's children, bastard children that he legitimized. They were great bastards, but now they're legitimate. They took the name Blackfyre. There's been rebellions, blah, 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 trying to overthrow the Targaryens. You got Bloodraven and Aegon. He's Aegon Rivers, and you got Bittersteel, and you got, so many things happen because of that. Egg becomes king because of it. There is so much that happens because of the Blackfyres that a lot of people think this is a Blackfyre from the female line, because we find out that the male line has been extinguished. But Illyrio's wife, Sarah, is he loves her and cries about her and all this stuff. She could have been on the female side. And some people also think Varys, because he shaves his head and never shows his hair color, he could be a Targaryen or a Blackfyre. There's also Targaryens still alive over in Essos. I think one of Egg's brothers went to Essos. And there was also the daughter of somebody who went over to Essos. If you know that name, put it in the comments below. I should really do more writing about this stuff. So a lot of people think he's fAegon. That's what they call him. He is not the true king, but no matter what he is, he has, from what we are getting from Winds of Winter and from sample chapters in Winds of Winter and what we got in A Dance with Dragons, he's already landed in Westeros. They supposedly taken Storm's End, which is impregnable unless it's been, handed over. So they say his banners are flying above that. And I believe he will march on and take King's Landing. It's ripe for the taking. And don't forget, the small folk won't rise up against a Targaryen. The last time their lives were really good was probably under Targaryen rule. I mean, you think about it, even if King Aerys was killing the lords and burning them alive and doing all this crazy stuff, the people weren't really involved in that. He didn't mess with the peasants, the normal folk. So to them, they are singing songs of the Targaryen rule, like Viserys would say. So he's going to be loved, I think. And this is the reason why I think Dany will be considered the villain, because he's going to be taking over, maybe kills Tommen, gets rid of the Lannisters, takes over King's Landing, is that, paper dragon or murmur dragon, which we could talk about it in a live stream, but he's going to be loved because he was raised as one of them. And Dany's going to come over with her dragons. And even if he is a Targaryen, she will not respect his claim, I don't think. And this is where we'll see her turning. I truly believe that. Or he might, I think he'll make it, but then, Jon Con, who has grayscale, maybe he provokes Dany, because his time is limited and he just wants to see this boy as king, Rhaegar's son, his lovely Rhaegar. So, maybe that is it. But we're going to discuss him on Monday night. So please come to the Monday night stream if you haven't missed this yet. Check it out if it already has played. But there is a reason why I think maybe he is real. And this is why. Right here is where Kevin Lannister just got a bolt to the chest, and it was Varys. And he's like, why? And he's like, I had to do it. You know, we have to get Aegon. He's here. He raised his banners. And Kevin Lannister's like, but he's dead. And this is where Varys says, no. The eunuch's voice seemed deeper. He is here. Aegon has been shaped for rule since before he could walk. He has been trained in arms. I don't know why I'm doing that. As befits a knight to be. But that was not the end of his education. He reads and writes. He speaks several tongues. He has studied history and law and poetry. A septa has instructed him in the mysteries of the faith since he was old enough to understand them. He has lived with the fisherfolk, worked with his hands, swum in the rivers and mended nets, and learned to wash his own clothes at need. He can fish and cook and bind up a wound. He knows what it is like to be hungry, to be hunted, to be afraid. Tommen has been taught that kingship is his right. Aegon knows that kingship is his duty, that a king must put his people first and live and rule for them. So, this is why I feel like he may be Aegon. Why would Varys take the time to tell a dying man the truth or a lie? You know, why would he not just tell Kevin, yeah, I'm pulling one over on all you? And people have said, oh, because his little birds. None of them got tongues. They ain't going against Varys. That would be stupid. They know what happens to people who go against Varys. And their children. He has them wrapped around his little finger. So why would he lie to a dying man he knows is going to die? I think maybe Dany doesn't think he's a Targaryen, kills him, and finds out he actually was a Targaryen. You know, this is the point. I think fAegon is not a red herring. fAegon's, story has no meaning, people say. No, Aegon's story is to show that Dany is not the moral person she says she is. She is power hungry. She wants the throne. It is her birthright, even though it is not if this young man is Aegon. And that's where we're going to find Dany turning into the villain. That's where it's going to go from morally stretching the line to straight out murdering and kinslaying. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like I said, we're going to do a stream about this on Monday, which would be probably like the 17th or 18th of May. So if it's already past that, check it out. If not, please subscribe and, ding the bell so you get the notification, because YouTube is not helping us out. And I just thank you all. This has been a lot of fun, and I hope I can keep doing this. We keep climbing, and maybe someday we can make this a full-time gig, right? So like I always say, if they're calling you names, they've already lost the war. So have a great day, everybody.